Hi everyone, I'm Kate McCabe. Hope everyone is feeling happy and healthy and safe as much as they can in this quarantine lockdown time that we're all going through. I thought I'd share a little tale about an unusual job I almost had once. I remember jobs. I haven't had one in a couple weeks because I'm a freelancer, but I do remember. And I had an interesting opportunity when I graduated from university. Took me down a real weird rabbit hole that was pretty exciting for a while. I went to university, I went to NYU in New York City with a degree in acting. That's not a proper degree where you get out of university and you have a great job opportunity immediately. That's the kind of degree that's like a dream chasing degree. So, when you walk out of university with your diploma, you've got to get a job bartending or doing something or temping whilst you continue to chase your dream. Or if you give up on your dream, you can go get a normal job. But I needed something that was flexible at the time. I wanted to be able to pursue stand-up comedy and or take the odd audition if I ever went for an audition. So I needed something with flexible hours. I went and I got a newspaper and I looked at the classifieds because that's how we used to find jobs back in the late 90s. It was still mostly in print. So I went and I saw a job listing for a security guard. And I thought, that's interesting. That'll have flexible hours as listed in the description. And I thought I could do that. And you might look at me and you might think, you don't strike me as a security guard type person. But I want to remind you, this was several years ago. I was around 21, so I was a little bit leaner and meaner. And back in those days, I was actually studying karate and taekwondo and things like that. And I had a black belt in karate. I was regularly taking boxing classes. So I felt confident. Not like, oh, they're going to put me to guard a military fortress kind of confident, but I thought as a woman anyway, they're just gonna plonk me in one of the gentler jobs. Like I'll be a security guard wearing a sweater vest at a library. That type of job is what they're gonna give me. So I applied and I got a response. And they invited me for an interview in a high rise of offices in Midtown Manhattan. And I got there, and the guy interviewing me, and who ran this security agency, he was called Otis Walker, and he was a fast-talking New Yorker with a flat cap. He was right out of Central Casting, a real kind of archetype. And he goes, "Okay, Kate says here, you're an actress." I was like, yes, I am. I just graduated from a theater department. Thank you very much. And he goes, "Okay, says here you're a bartender too." And I was like, I am a bartender. I graduated with an acting degree, so I immediately went and got a bartending certificate because I need to get a job. And he goes, "Perfect. I got a perfect job for you, as long as you don't mind wearing a bathing suit." And that didn't make me pause at all because I'm 21. I'm still full of positivity. In my head, I'm thinking, sure, I can wear a Speedo. I'm thinking like an Olympic bathing suit, like a swimmer would wear. And I'm thinking, it's a security guard. He wants me to be a lifeguard. I can be a lifeguard. That's fine. I can wear a bathing suit. Yes, I can wear a bathing suit. And he goes, "Okay, great. I can't tell you any more about it. It is highly confidential. I got to send you to another address." So he takes a piece of paper, writes down an address, another high rise in Midtown Manhattan. I go find it, and this one is like a block of apartments. So I go up to the 40th floor where this apartment is. I go and knock on the door. It's at the end of the corridor. And I go, I hear from the other side and this gruff voice kind of barks at me and goes, "Who is it?" And I go, "This is Katie McCabe. Mr. Otis Walker sent me over." And it's like lock, latch, chain, bolt, lock, chain, bolt, all these things opening up on the other side, and this grizzled, gruff, short-haired, flannel-wearing butch lesbian peers out and goes, "Come in." And so immediately on looking at her, I was like, it's gonna be fine. It's my people. Everything's gonna come out okay. She explains it's not quite a security guard position that they're offering. It's undercover work. Sometimes businesses are having problems like theft, for instance, which was what was happening in this case. Someone was stealing from inside the company. And for whatever reason, either they don't want to involve the police because maybe it doesn't justify having police involvement, or they don't want to involve the police for other reasons. So what she explains is it's a strip club and someone is on the take from inside the strip club. Someone who works there, money is going missing. And they don't know who it is, and you need to get a job there and be undercover as a bartender. She said, you're not going to be a stripper, don't worry. You're going to be a bartender, and you will make mad money because not only would I get a day shift, I would also get paid the same amount as a day shift from the detective agency, and I would get paid to write up journal entries, because as the bartender, I'm there to make the drinks, but also to observe what's happening so they can crack this case. So for every one of my little rat fink narc diary entries, that also netted me money, and this was a very high rolling strip club. So I'd be making bank, right? Like $100, $200, $300 tips. This was Scores. Scores, for those of you who didn't live in Manhattan in the late 90s, was the high-end strip club. I think it was the first strip club that served like steak dinners with like Chateaubriand options, or like a Chateauneuf de Pop Red to wash it down, popping bottles of champagne. People like Howard Stern, the Yankees, George Clooney. That's where they would go to get high-end tits and ass, right? A lot of money spent there. So Scores. Undercover bartender, keep a rat fink diary, make a load of money, but I can't just give you the job. You've got to go and talk to the owner of Scores, right? She took my fingerprints so that she could run like an FBI database check and make sure I was clean and everything, which made it feel crazy. But I go to this other high rise, my third high rise of the day, in Midtown Manhattan, and this one is really swank office spaces, and this office is like towards the top of the building. Guy in a pinstripe suit, really well dressed, very harried though. You can tell he didn't have much time for me. He was running his business. He probably owned a billion other things. And he goes, okay, well, obviously I can't just plant you in this job. You have to get the job legitimately via interview so that there's no suspicion around your true identity. And he goes, all I'm going to say to you is know your drinks when you go in and wear something sexy. And that was the hard part. I knew my drinks. This look sexy. I don't have a lot of high femme clothes. I had to go really into the deep recesses of my closet to find something that I could wear for this interview. So I found some stuff that I think I'd had because when I graduated, I got headshots. So I wore essentially what I would wear to get headshots done. So I had like this kind of womanly fitting kind of blouse that was like short sleeve and buttoned down and a nice collar, and like really tight kind of like bronzy copper brocade patterned yope pants. I think it's pronounced yope. It's spelled jupe, but I think it's pronounced yope, that I had purchased at Century 21, which was like high-end fashion for bargain basement prices. So those yoke trousers, and then the only kind of like nice shoe I had was this ankle boot with a little bit of a Cuban heel on, so it gave me a little bit of a lift, but just a little Cuban heel. And I slapped some lipstick on and some eyeshadow, and I took a handbag, and I normally carry a rucksack, but this time I took a handbag, and I doing a little walk down to Scores. And I get there, and it's like this, the day manager is wearing a tuxedo. It's that kind of place, right? And he sits me down for this interview, and he goes, okay, you want to be a bartender here? I need to quiz you on the top drinks here that our high-flying clientele tend to order at this establishment. And he goes, okay, so what's in a martini? And I tell him what's in a martini and what's in a Rob Roy and this and that. And I'm looking around as he's interviewing me, and I see there's a bartender who is kind of stalking the bar for the shift. And I observe what she's wearing, and I'm like, what's this swimsuit they want me to wear? What's that look like? And it's not a swimsuit, guys. It is a tuxedo top, and it's sleeveless, so it's just kind of like a tuxedo husk. And there's a window for the boobs cut out, so there's a hole there. And she's wearing a cummerbund and a thong, which is uncomfortable, right? A thong and fishnet tights, so like a magician's assistant fishnet tights. And then she's wearing the spikiest stiletto heel I've ever seen. And that's when it clicks. I'm like, I can't, I 10 bar in Doc Martens and in sneakers. And I look at her, and the guy's still asking me drink questions. And he goes, okay, well, what's in a mimosa? I just looked at him and I said, uh, gin and lager. I can't tend heels. I can't 10 bar in high heels, guys. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't. I couldn't spend 8 hours on my feet in high heels. As a woman, my body resisted. I blew the interview. I got out of there. Nothing had scared me up until that point. Nothing. Not the fact that I was going to be undercover. Not that it was a strip club. Not that I was potentially, narking someone to prison. And not even the fact that Scores was well known to be owned by the mafia. Not even that scared me. But women's fashion, especially women's fashion geared to attract men and put women in uncomfortable positions, no. There's not enough money in the world, guys, to make me wear high heels. Anyway, that's where my line was drawn. And I lived to see another day. That same detective called me back later on to let me know I didn't get the job. Surprise. And then offered me a similar type position. She said, but this time it's not a strip club. It's on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. And it's a fraternity bar. And I said, oh, no thank you. And that was the last time I had that brush with danger. Anyway, thanks for listening. I hope you all continue to stay safe and healthy. And I hope I see you all at live gigs when this is all done. Bye for now.